feeling right now, in this very moment? Overwhelmed, neglected, joyful, excited? It's okay to feel your feelings. You might be feeling tired, frustrated, unloved, anguish, misery, intense pain, befuddlement, suspicion, anger, or rage. Some people will try to guilt trip you whenever you feel emotions. There is nothing shameful about having feelings. If you know how to navigate them, your emotions can be quite magical because they can protect you and guide you. They can shield you. Your emotions are God's protection. Anger, for example, lets you know when someone has done you wrong. Feeling uncomfortable makes you know that someone has overstepped their boundaries. Feeling shy or shame lets you know that you have overexposed yourself. Feeling excited lets you know that something good is on its way. Feeling suspicious lets you know that someone is trying to trick you or take advantage of you. Feeling misery lets you know that you're not in a good space and you need to do something to change this. This is the story of a little girl who had a lot of feelings, and because she was quite young and naive, she didn't quite understand her feelings yet, and she had no control over them. When she was 5 years old, her father taught her how to write. Taught her how to write her name and other little words, and she learnt very fast, and this made her very excited. She realized that writing opened up a whole new world to her, and she could create new worlds with it, and she could also read and understand beautiful, colorful stories. The stories she watched on TV came to life with words, the cartoon characters. She was absolutely fascinated. When she was 6 years old, an event occurred that was going to change her life forever. A little but large event. Her sister came back home one day with an essay assignment, and she moaned and groaned and whined about it. She was not happy that she had this assignment. Now, the little girl listened to her sister moan and complain. The sister had been given an assignment to write about a snowman and about Christmas time. The little girl, hearing this, couldn't understand why her sister was complaining. It sounded like such a fun and amazing thing to be given to write at school. And she couldn't understand why her sister couldn't appreciate this. It completely boggled her mind. This was her dream assignment. She wanted to be the one who was given this assignment. And it hurt her so much to hear her sister complain so about it. Now you might think that it's so silly for this little girl to have felt so stressed about this situation. But remember, she was young, naive, and had no control over her feelings. And bless her for that, because it was going to completely change and redirect her life. That same very night, her sister's assignment night, when the little girl went to bed, she couldn't fall asleep. She could not sleep that night. She tossed and turned, thinking over and over about what happened, about her sister's complaints, about the assignment, the awesome assignment that she wished was given to her. And she couldn't sleep. And she turned and she tossed, and her stomach knotted up. There was a knot in her stomach. She felt so much pain. She couldn't understand what was happening to her. Her stomach turned and churned and turned all night long. And she languished away in bed all night till dawn. It was a grueling and terrible experience for her. It was a terrible night, sleepless night. For the first time ever in her little life, it was a night she would never forget. She had absolutely no understanding of why she felt this way, why she was feeling these things, why her stomach hurt so much and had tied up into a knot. She would only understand. Decades later, when she was a big girl, all grown up. Can you guess what that feeling was that she was feeling? Can you guess what that emotion was that was tugging at her stomach and giving her tummy pains and churning her stomach all night? When she was all grown up, she looked back on that day and she realized that that feeling she had, that pain she had in bed, that didn't let her sleep at night, well, that was good old-fashioned jealousy. And this terrible, grueling feeling of jealousy had forever shaped the rest of her life. Now try not to misunderstand this. When people hear about jealousy, people usually think evil, terrible, backstabbing. No, it was nothing like that. She was young, naive, and didn't understand her feelings, but they led her to understand how passionate she was about writing, and she wished to write. She wanted to be a writer, and a writer she became. It had nothing to do with her feelings for her sister. It was just a drive and a passion to write. And the fact that she had turmoil that night when she lay in bed made her realize that her calling and her destiny was to write. This little girl worked all her life towards becoming a writer. She believed in herself more than anything in this world. She believed that that was her calling, and call it did, because she worked towards it and became an extremely successful writer who even received a lot of awards for her works. Now, this is actually a true story. This little girl's name is Nneka Ezinwa. She's a writer, and you can see some of her work on Amazon. She worked as an extremely successful copywriter in advertising for 12 years, and she also published a book called The Muse, The Female of the Species, and a collaboration with other writers called Closet Space. She still publishes more and writes till this day, every day. So this story is just to let you know that feelings and emotions are there for a reason. Don't discriminate any of your emotions. Love them all equally. Make peace with them. Learn how to transform them and reinvent them. Every feeling has its time and place. Don't hinder any from making a grand appearance. Celebrate them all. And when she was asked who's a better writer, her or her sister, without hesitation she responded, her sister was. However, she was not interested in writing. She didn't like writing, and she was not so inclined, or else she could have become an extraordinary writer and storyteller as well.